My favorite kind of story is the story about the man who gains the world but loses his soul. I think there's something beautifully tragic about it. It is a story of ambition and the pursuit of greatness, but also of futility and downfall, and to me, it just highlights what it is to be human. It highlights that even when you can be the most powerful man on earth, there can still be something fundamentally and spiritually broken about you. So it's no coincidence that my favorite work of literature is Macbeth, and my favorite film is The Social Network. My favorite TV show is BoJack Horseman, and it's why I gravitated so much towards Hamilton when it first came out. And of course, all of these works cast a bit of a negative light on these characters. The central message is, don't be like these people are broken. But some part of me finds it hard to watch those without connecting to the characters in some way. I always wanted to be at the top, like Macbeth. I always wanted to be admired and respected, like Mark Zuckerberg or like Hamilton. I think it's just a product of my upbringing, but I always wanted to distinguish myself in some way. I always wanted to speak up and push back against the things in my environment that I found objectionable, and I felt like I had to be the one to solve the world's problems, because if not me, then who? I thought it would be a moral irresponsibility to shirk that duty. I felt burdened with purpose, a bit like Sisyphus pushing the boulder up the hill. That ambition to be great and to distinguish myself drove me for so much of my life. I channeled it into multiple outlets. One of them was this channel, but that's such a small part of what I did. I channeled it into the kind of university I decided to go to. I channeled it into the career path I chose. I channeled it into this unending pursuit of academic and social prestige. That was my main motivating factor. And in pursuit of those goals, I was willing to sacrifice almost anything. I ignored the humanity of people around me, and I sacrificed relationships trying to get to that kind of greatness. I sacrificed sleep and meals and sanity, and only recently did I realize that it was making me miserable. I have been embroiled in this culture war for the better part of 3 years now, and the anger that I felt at everything around me, it used to drive me, but that fire that burned in me just burned too hot, and it drained me. It drained the part of myself that I would call a soul. And so the last few months have reminded me that there is much more good in life and in living than there is in whatever quarrel or cause we feel like we just have to stand for. So I may return to this fight in the future, but right now, that's just not what life is calling me to do. I'll still be around. I'll still be producing content in some way or another, probably in the written word and not necessarily in video format. Hopefully I can get those pieces to you when they arrive. But right now, my life is at a point that reminds me of a moment in The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. At the end of The Brothers Karamazov, the brother Alyosha finds himself at a bit of a crossroads. One of his brothers has just confronted with the devil. He's going mad. He looks like he's on death's door. His other brother has been wrongly convicted of murder and is planning of fleeing to Siberia. And after all of this chaos and nonsense, Alyosha realizes that perhaps the only thing that he can aspire to in his life is kindness and decency. And perhaps that's all we can aspire to in the end. So, I just wanted to say thank you all so much for your support.